3, 2, 1. Most coaches think they have a content problem, but that's not actually true. The real problem here is you are sitting on your best content and don't even realize it. I discovered this after watching coaches spend hours creating more content, video, webinar, and only to get little to no engagement and no client at all, to be sincere. A few years ago, I used to think creating more content was the answer. More video, more posts, more ideas, more work. But then I started noticing something strange. Some coaches had years of experience, hundreds of client conversation, dozens of success story, countless lessons. Yet their content feel generic, not because they were not smart, but because they were ignoring the gold mine right in front of them. So if you're a coach, a consultant, or a service provider, there's a good chance you're doing the same things. So let me explain. We have about 5.3 and point 4, 3 and 4 to 5 is going to be interesting to be sincere. So point 1, the best content is hidden inside your client question. So let me explain this. Here's what I realized. Every time a client asks a question, they are telling you exactly what content to create. If most coaches answer the question once and move on, I used to do. Some people used to ask me a question, I used to answer and move on without thinking of creating content around that question. Someone will ask me a question and I will spend about 10 minutes giving a detailed answer, then I forget about it. That's a big, huge mistake, right? Sure. But because if one person is asking that question, same question, there is a probability of that hundreds or dozens of other people are asking the same question, want the same answer. So, and that single answer to these people right here could be a YouTube video. You can turn it into a YouTube video, the LinkedIn post, a short clips video, an email copy, a webinar, or any type of content that you can create, even article, blog post. One question can turn into 5 pieces of content. Point 2, coaches keep teaching what they know instead of what people need, right? 3, 2, 1, go. Point 2, coaches teaches what they know instead of teaching what people need. Like this one hits me hard, to be sincere. Many coaches create content around what they want to talk about, what they like to talk about, not what their audience is struggling with. Here's their audience, here's what they like talking about, and that's a huge difference. I remember creating content that I thought was brilliant inside your head. I was explaining advanced concept and with fancy framework, and nobody cares, to be sincere. With fancy framework, nobody cares. Complex strategies. With fancy framework, complex strategies, and nobody cares. The views were low, the engagement was low, the lead were low actually. And why? Because my audience was not only looking for advanced strategies, they were trying to solve a basic problem. And once I started speaking, and once I started speaking directly to those problems, people paid attention. Point 3. Your story are more valuable than your tips, to be sincere. Not they are information on the internet. Information. I thought people wanted information. Sincere. Like, look at this guy here. It's consuming information. This point two. Your story are more valuable than your tips, right? Number one, information and perspective. This is where I was completely wrong. I thought people wanted information, more information. Why? It turned out that they wanted more perspective. Right. This is the difference between these two people. Your audience don't want information, they want perspective. They want your own angle, your own point of view, your own answer. Because there are information on the internet, anyone can give tips, right? This like someone on the internet randomly on the internet out there, can give tips. The internet is full of tips. Like people are uploading video content every single day to the internet. So which makes the internet to be full of tips. So there are all information on the internet. This is the internet right here. But your story, that's unique. The mistake you have made, the failure you have experienced, the lesson you have learned. That is what connects you with your audience. Instead of saying, here's how to get clients, here's what you might say. Tell the story of the time you struggle to get client. Tell them what happened after you get client, or what is happening, and what happened on your sales call. Tell them what you have learned for a couple of years ago, or couple of days ago. Tell them your real personal experience. People connect with story far more than instruction, and that's what build trust. To be sincere, that's what build trust. Point 4. Most coaches create content once use it once. They search content like a disposable goods, perishable goods. So here's a creator, random creator on the internet. Upload a video file to the internet. The video is posted, done, and next going on, to record another video. This changes everything for me. I used to create a piece of content once and move on to the next one. But that is incredibly inefficient. Think about it. You spend hours creating a webinar, a training video, as a training video that you can put on a website on YouTube that people watches, then it disappears. You record a great coaching session, then nobody sees it again. You answer an amazing question on a sales call, then it gets forgotten because you forget it yourself. Like look at a random person also on doing a sales call, a person, a client online. Like look at the camera here and look at him here coaching content. That is not content creation, that is a content waste. To be sincere, but all those content you have been forgotten, look at them going inside this trash can here, this trash can. So now whenever I create something valuable, I ask how many ways can I reuse it? Reuse this. To be sincere, one long video can become 10 short clips. Can also one coaching call can become weeks of content ideas, because those questions they ask you on the call, you can turn them into an idea that you can create video about, because people want answer, what problem, they want solution to that problem. One client success story can become multiple posts on your Instagram or LinkedIn, wherever you are posting, right? The goal is not creating more content, the goal is extracting more value from what you have already created. Point 5. The content you are ignoring is usually the content that sells. Here's the funny part. The content coaches often ignore is usually the content that attract clients, not the polished presentation, not just something like this, not the fancy graphics, not the complicated framework, the simple explanation, the simple breakthrough, the simple objection you have said, the mistake you have made, the lesson you have learned. That is the stuff people relate to. That is the stuff that creates trust, and that is the trust that turns viewers into clients actually. So a quick recap. So if you're a coach or a creator, business owner, and your content is not performing the way you want, don't immediately assume you need more content. You probably already have enough content. To be sincere, just think about it. Look at your client question, look at your coaching call, look at your story, look at your mistake, look at your wins, your wins. Your best content is already there. You just have not been using it. That's why. So if this helps you see content differently and you might enjoy some of my other video on content creation, YouTube growth, and building a content driven business. So I'm documenting what I'm learning along the way. So if that is something you are interested in, stick around and I will see you in the next video. Peace.